Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you all know, this is quite a new channel, and this unfortunately is my last vlog now of 2024. We only have like a few hours left, I think. I don't know where my clock is. And then we are into the new year, which is 2025. So I thought I'd just do a little rundown of everything that has gone on this year pony wise, a little recap and a refresh on what I thought was good with the season, what I'd like to improve on, and then maybe talk about a few goals that I have for the 2025 season. As you guys know, not all of the ponies get shown on our yard. A couple of them are retired, and then we have a few that just weren't out shown this year, either because we wanted them to just kind of grow on a bit and mature, or maybe they were just having some time off. Our show season starts in February. So we start off with a nice little local show just to refresh ourselves on making sure everything is in the lorry again that it needs to be, that we're stocked up and we're ready to go, just to kind of get us back into the swing of things. We start off with that as a good one, and our first affiliated show of the year is usually MPS Area 7, which is at Berry Farm. We took Ida to both of those. She was very, very good, very successful, which was super good. She was actually reserve MPS Mountain and Moorland silver medal rosette champion. So that was amazing, because I don't think this pony's ever been shown. She is actually a client's pony, and unfortunately she is now up for sale. I would love her to stay with us for show production, but if she finds a magnificent home, then that is equally as good. So she did a few shows. She was supposed to come out on the lead, and then through one thing and another it just didn't happen, so she was just turned away for a little while. She is fully broken in though, and she was being ridden by my 3-year-old niece for a while. So she will be coming for sale next season again. We welcomed Trilby in spring of this year. She is the second foal for our stud, and the only one that we had this year. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I could not believe that she came out and was a filly. I really thought, me and Meg both thought, that she was going to be a colt. I was so sure. I didn't even enter my head that she would be a filly. But yeah, a little Palomino filly popped out. She had a lot of breeders, seasoned breeders, and a lot of people in general completely stumped, because most people thought she would be chestnut. And then a few seasoned breeders were like, I mainly think chestnut, but there is a possibility of Palomino. And I just remember looking at her. She had just been born, and she was still wet at this point. And I looked at her and I said, Meg, that's a Palomino, I'm telling you. Now, I am no expert on colour genetics. I've done my research and I keep educating myself. I'm no expert. But she just had this weird sheen to her, this metallic-y look. And I thought, that's not chestnut. That's not. And the whole way along, everyone was like, no, you're in dreamland. She's going to be a chestnut. It wouldn't have bothered me if she was a chestnut. But yeah, she is a lovely Palomino now. So we're going to get her overstamped with British Palomino Society. She had some good shows at foot with her mum. She took quite a few championships, which was good. She had a lovely reserve in a young stock championship, and she was reserve in like an open championship, so all ages, breeds, types and everything, which was amazing. For a foal pony to do that is quite something, because there will be judges that will judge the foal as a pony, and some will just go, oh, it's a cute foal. So yeah, we were super pleased with that. She had a trip off to the Royal Welsh Winter Fair. She loved the atmosphere. I was rather surprised, because she likes a nap. As some of you seasoned viewers will know, she does like a nap. So yeah, she was very good there. She came 12th out of 19 forward, which in most people's terms, unless you're sort of coming out with a rosette, you've not done very good. But trust me, 12th of 19 forward at the Royal Welsh Winter Fair, with a judge that I really wasn't too sure whether we would be on type, probably not be on type. I was really pleased with, really pleased. So yeah, she won the dilute class and went dilute champion at Midland Foal and Young Stock Show, which was absolutely amazing. Like, I could not have asked any more of her that day. And we had some lovely comments about her, which is always really flattering, because it's always nice when you have comments about ponies that you've produced, but when you've bred a pony, it's slightly different. I wouldn't say, for me personally at the moment, I'll probably feel differently at some point. I wouldn't say it's any better. It's just a different feeling doing well with a homebred pony. Because I think a lot of people say to me, oh, like, it'll be different for you, like, it's so different when it's with one of your homebreds than one of the others. And I can't forget what Diego has done for me, what Ariana has done for me, what Tia has done for me, and they're not my homebreds. But regardless, yeah, she had a really good year, so we're super excited for her next year. Charlie, he had a really good season. Didn't have many classes at foot with mum. Unfortunately, he had a judge change at the Royal Welsh, which it couldn't have been a worse judge change for us, because the judge breeds very pretty, puggy Section A's, stocky Section A's, and he is the complete opposite in Section B form. And he did not like him at all. Charlie gave Meg a bit of a tough time there, but was super good for me. But nonetheless, he had a 6th at the Winter Fair, which I was ecstatic. To come away with a rosette and a card is just like the icing on the cake, and literally, like, you know, there's the sound like it's like a reward. It genuinely is like a reward, that all of your hard work and monitoring what they look like and everything has amounted to something. It's been really fun producing foals. It's my first time ever producing foals. I've shown foals a lot. I've shown many foals, and we obviously had Tallulah a couple of years ago. But I didn't produce her as such. It kind of was like, oh, she looked good, let's just take her out to a show. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a big learning curve. I feel like I've done a very good job. I've had a great deal of help from Meg with feeding and things like that. Meg is like the feed expert, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I do know a lot about feed, but she is like, she reads cover to cover of everything. So yeah, foal producing, love it. Can't wait to do it again next year. Then who else did we have out? Tia had a pretty good season. She was a bit tired this time. I think Trilby dragged a bit more off of her than Tallulah did. She looked a lot better with Tallulah, I would say, if I'm being critical. But I think she won all of her classes. She was mostly the only one forward, and there's nothing you can do with that, is there? When there's broodmare classes, you don't tend to be up against many. But she did go overall in hand champion at the beginning of the year at the Showcase Series, which was fabulous, because I think Trilby was only like 5 weeks old, and that was an evening performance show. She likes an evening performance, actually. Tallulah went out once. She went out to the East Anglia Championship Horse Show, and did she have a second and a third? She was just a little bit immature compared to the others. She looked good for me, but if I took her to a breed show, she probably would have looked a bit immature. And compared to the other two that were in the ring with her, she maybe looked a bit immature, but she went really well. She looked healthy in her coat. She was very good. She was very good to travel, stable away. So that was a lot of good boxes ticked. I had the opportunity to show my mum's mare, who is Charlie's mum, obviously when Charlie was at foot. I didn't actually produce either of them when it was kind of mare and foal classes, only when Charlie was weaned. And my mum had the mare looking amazing. I mean, they both looked really good, but the mare looked sensational. She had a very good second at Royal Three Counties. I was super pleased with that. Wasn't going to do any better than that. Really made up. That was in a very nice class, actually, of Section B ponies. She had a good 7th at the Royal Welsh in the summer. I thought she might have been moved up one. Thought she might get a card and a rosette. But I'm still very pleased with the 7th nonetheless. Where else did she go? Norfolk wasn't as good for her. She found it a bit... It was strange because at a couple of the shows, she wasn't that fussed about Charlie, and I thought, right, we'll take him a little bit further away into the ring. So when we went to Royal Norfolk, we took him that bit further into the middle of the ring just to make her move on a little bit. Well, she didn't like that. She went berserk. She did an awful first trot. She did quite a good individual show, but her first trot was, well, it was not good. And I thought she would maybe stay where she was in that class, but she didn't. She was moved down a place. But yeah, she looked super good. I would love to have the opportunity to show as a Baron next year, but I don't know what my mum's plans are. Ariana went to one show at the beginning of the year. She went to Towlands, and she was the only one in her class, sadly. So obviously she won by default. And then she was reserve adult partbred champion, I believe. I don't think the judge was overly keen on her, if I'm honest, but that is one of the best she has ever shown for me. She looked really good for that time of year, and she showed wonderfully for me, because she can be a real tricky technical mare to show, but she showed super well for me, so I was kind of just pleased on those grounds, really. And then she went off to stud, and that just wasn't successful for us. So she is a maiden mare. She went off to stud, and she was covered in ham first of all, and then she ran out with the stallion. Covered lots of times. The stallion is very fertile. He's been successful breeding wise. Brought her home, scanned her, and I couldn't believe it when the vet said that she was empty. She said everything was working fine. She's cycling fine. Ovaries look fine. There's nothing more we kind of could have done. She was in season the day before we took her. It's just one of those things. So she will be going back next spring, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So she just kind of had the year off, really. She was just chilling in the field. I've shown her a lot since she was 2 years old, and she's 7 now, so it was quite nice to just kind of give her basically the whole year off, chilling in the field, doing what she wants, and not being platted up, you know, once a month and being taken off to a show. Miss J-Lo had a short show season due to us moving yards and moving house, but I'll discuss that in a bit. So she did a lead rank class at a show, and she won it with my niece on board, her first ever show. She did so well, because it was really cold and really rainy, and for a 3-year-old to be out riding in that, I thought, good for you, because I don't really want to be out in this. It's awful. And then she just missed out on a win at Nottingham County Show in the Baron Mare and Gelding Section A class. She was pulled first and dropped to second. I was so gutted. So close to my first win at Notts County. I've never had a win there before. But I was still pleased with the second, because Notts County is actually one of my unlucky shows. I have a few unlucky shows, and I feel like I've broken the unlucky curse there now. So yeah, that was all she really did. She was supposed to be shown a bit more in the year. And then, like I said, we kind of, we moved house, we moved yards, and it was right in the middle of summer. So everything was kind of a little bit of an upheaval and everything. So it just didn't really happen, but we have plans next year. Then last but not least, out of our ponies, although he's not ours, is Mr. Leo, who has become a little bit of a favourite on my TikTok. Leo is he's the Section C gelding, if you've seen my introduction. He is a show lease, so we leased him from the Bogle family. They are friends of ours. We've known them for quite a few years now, and we've just leased him. He is 17 years old, so he's retired from ridden work. He's obviously not going to be ridden by us. Just have a little bit of fun, some gelding stuff, some Welsh stuff, and some veteran stuff. And he only did really 4 shows, I think, but he absolutely smashed every single one of them. Took him out beginning of the year, and he won the Welsh Section C gelding class. I'd done my research, and I thought the judge would like him, and I was correct. The judge loved him, absolutely loved him. I was very surprised to win that class, actually. So he won that, and then he went to the Raw Welsh, and he had a 10th out of 17 or 18 ponies, which again, any Royal Welsh goers, you will know that is bloody brilliant. He was the smallest in the class. This was the Section C geldings. He was the smallest in the class, and he was definitely the oldest. So I was absolutely made up with that. He went really well for me. He was a good boy there. He looked so well. I couldn't have got him looking any better. He then did the East Anglia Horse Show in July, August time. I can't remember. It was after the Royal Welsh. And It was a marked veteran class. I went in and I thought, oh, it's unaffiliated. Like, I can't do affiliated. I'm not eligible for the qualifiers. I can't take the qualification. I can go in the classes, but I can't take the qualification. And I just thought it'd be a standard veteran class. No. They got the mark sheets out because someone was complaining outside, not about myself. So they got the mark sheets out. And then they did a set show. And I was like, oh, gosh. I have done SSADL classes before, so I know the general gist of the set show that they usually ask you to do. But I hadn't practiced this with Leo because I know that I'm not eligible for the championships, so I didn't really see the point in me practicing because I didn't think this would come up. So poor Leo was like, why are you trotting on the other side of me? But he was super, super good. It was, gosh, how many was in there? 7 ponies, I think. And one of the ponies, I think, was the Royal Norfolk winner for the veterans this year. And another 2 of them have been very successful. There was like 3 in there that I was like, oh God, these are really seasoned veteran people. And then there's me and Mr. Leo winging it. We only went a 1. We had highest marks, obviously. Highest marks for every single thing. I couldn't believe it. My voice is cracking. I'm so shocked. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Absolutely couldn't believe it. And then we did the East Anglia Championship Horse Show. Held at Forest Edge Arena. Had the nicest little weekend away. Where we also took the Mare and Foal. We took Tallulah. And he won both his veteran classes there. Highest marks across the board again. And I was really, really pleased. We had to do set shows again. But we'd had a little bit of practice this time. But yeah, he was just absolutely amazing. He's been so good this year. So we really look forward to showing him next year and have a lot planned for him as well. I did talk about Ida as my client pony. So she's my internal client pony. And obviously Charlie came in for production for my mum. But I did have some handling opportunities where I don't produce the ponies. I just turn up to the show and I show them for the owner. So there was Moses, who is the little coloured riding pony. If you follow me on my other socials, you will know who he is. He's a little coloured riding pony, and he's also a Welsh part bred. He should mature at 12 hands, but I think he'll be a little bit over. I showed him at Royal Norfolk and he showed like an absolute dream in the coloured class. It was just one of those classes where I thought, my God, he's just going sensationally. Like, I can push for that little bit of impulsion from him because he's just going so well. He was pulled in second. I was dropped again. It literally has happened to me so much this year where I'm like, oh, almost. And then it's like, oh, no, not quite. So, yeah, he was pulled in second, dropped to third. I think maybe the judges preferred the other one more up close, which is absolutely fine. Like, the 2 gentlemen that were above me are such big names. The fact that I was even pulled in above one of them in the first place, I was like, do you know what? You 2 can take first and second. I will take third. That is fine with me. But yeah, that was a really good class. And then I showed him at the Royal Welsh and he was a bit of a little terror. He's never been naughty for me. I've shown him a few times now. And he just was not himself there. He really wasn't. And I don't want to say it's the atmosphere because he went there as a yearling and he's 2 now. I don't know what it was. He just wasn't himself. He wasn't focused. He didn't want to listen to me. And he was unplaced in both of his classes. He was only just out of the placings in the colours, I think. He was really not the judge's type in the riding pony. I think even if he'd have gone really well, I still don't think she would have liked him. It is very tricky in riding pony classes, taking a coloured pony in there, because they're generally bay, black, chestnut. I also showed Dinky. Dinky is the piebald traditional gypsy cob yearling colt belonging to Amy. She is a friend and client. She has become a very, very good friend this year. Her and her mother, very, very good friend. So I first showed him at a local show at the beginning of the year. The same show as Ida, actually. Ida went champion and I got reserve with him, which was really, really nice, actually. And then the only other show he did was the Royal Welsh. So to go from doing a local show to the Royal Welsh was a very big ask for him. It's a big ask for any pony. But to ask a pony to do their second show on such a big stage was, you know, a lot for him. But he kept it together. He had a few athletic moments, but he wasn't like uncontrollable. He was just loving the atmosphere. I didn't feel like he was being naughty or anything like that. He listened to me the whole time. He was just like, yes, I love this. I could do this every day of the week. He was really good. And it was a big coloured class, and he got pulled sixth. And I was like, oh my God, I've just scraped into the placings. I've got a card and a rosette, and that is my first client pony that I have ever shown at the Royal Welsh. So that was some achievement, and I think Amy was really pleased. I was super pleased. He went really well. He looked really well. She had him looking really well. So yeah, that was a really good one. I also showed Lucy's Section C mare. I am not going to pronounce the first part of her name, but the second part is As Sweet As, and her stable name is Sweetie, and she is a proper sweetie. She is so nice. She's a really big, old-fashioned, scopy Section C mare, and I just showed her at a little local show, and she won both her classes and was champion, which is super good. I don't think she's done too much showing. She's quite a novice pony, but she was really willing to listen and give things a go, and you could ask that little bit more of her and she'd go, oh, okay then, let's go for it. She was really quite fun to show. I love working out how a pony ticks, how it works, what makes them go, what they want from you, what you can get out of them, and how far you can ask them. So yeah, showed her. Hopefully show her again next year. I don't know what Lucy wants to do. If that's kind of as far as she wants to go, that's absolutely fine. But that was a nice little opportunity for me. I don't think I've ever shown a Section C mare. I've shown obviously C's, but never shown a Section C mare. So yeah, I think that's about everybody. I hope I haven't missed anybody off. I feel like that's everyone for the season. Okay, now for some of the exciting stuff. My 2025 goals. I have my diary. I've been filling it up already. I am so excited for this show season. Like I kind of touched on briefly, we moved from a 3-bedroom house into a 1-bedroom house. We condensed down, which was so hard. And then we also moved from a yard onto 2 yards that we're on now. And that was right in the middle of summer. It was a big upheaval, totally unexpected. We needed to sort of find somewhere else eventually anyway, because we were kind of outgrowing where we were at the yard. But yeah, we are all in, we are all settled, we are in a beautiful house now. We absolutely love both the yards. And I am looking forward to just getting stuck into the show season and having a full year on the yards. Some goals that I want to set. I always set myself targets and goals every single year without fail. They don't have to be big goals and big targets. I just like to have something to aim towards and something that I would like to achieve. If I don't achieve it, I don't get too hung up on that. I just kind of add it on as a next year goal, and it just becomes something then for next year until I do achieve it. So breeding wise, Ariana will be going back off the stud. She will be visiting the same stallion as this year. We're going to do a few things slightly differently, not too much, but a few things slightly differently. So hopefully she will come home scanned in foal for a 2026 foal. That will be very exciting. I'm super keen to breed from this mare. I think very highly of her, and I think she could produce something very nice. Glam, who we don't really talk about too much, she doesn't do a whole lot of showing, to be honest. She's taken a long time to mature, and we've just kind of let her grow on naturally. She is going off to stud. Very excited. She's going off to a lovely stallion who has a lot of stock on the ground. He's a proven stock getter. So yeah, we're very excited to use him. Something with a little bit of colour, which is exciting, because Glam was actually born Palomino and her mother is Palomino. So I'm hoping we can draw a little bit of colour out of her. It might not happen. She is grey now, obviously. So there's always a chance, though. You never know. If we can make it work, we can. If we can't, we can't. As long as it's healthy and it's a nice little type, then that's what we are kind of aiming for. Showing targets for me, I would say, as an overall target, I would love to win at a county show that I haven't won at before. Now, I have not won at very many county shows at all. I've had seconds, but I would like to win at 1 or 2 county shows this year that I haven't won at before. I don't know with what pony. Sometimes I'm like, I'd love to win with this pony, or I'd love to win with that pony. But I would just love to win at a different county show. That would be really nice. I mean, obviously, if I win at the same county show, I will take that as well. But just to achieve something at a different county show would be lovely. I would love for Ariana to win a bronze Welsh Pony and Cob medal this year, or maybe a silver one. They're so hard to get now. Whether it will happen, I really don't know. And maybe another MPS silver medal rosette would be nice. She's won a few of those now, so it'd be lovely to add another to the collection. I suppose we're gonna have Tia out as a Baron mare. She's going to do some shows. Looking forward to getting her out. Do some MPSing as well, I think, with her, as well as the Welsh breed shows. The 3-year-olds, Ruby may be departing from us this year, unfortunately, which is very sad, but she's 3 now. So I think she's going to be departing from us next year. Tallulah will be coming into work. She's going to start some groundwork. I mean, she's had groundwork anyway, but I mean like more hands-on, lunging, long reining. Start some of that, and hopefully get out to a few shows. The foals will have a lovely yearling season, I hope. I love showing yearlings. Yearlings are like one of my favourite ages to show. I love doing mare and foal classes, and I love yearling classes. So I'm really excited to have 2 yearlings to be able to show. So got some shows planned for them. Trilby will be going off to the Royal Welsh in July, all being well, which is exciting. And then J-Lo is hopefully going to have a full lead rein season with my niece. I'm hoping that goes to plan. I'd love to do some BSPS, but we will see how it goes, correlating with like my brother and my niece, and if she wants to do it. If she doesn't want to do it, it's fine. But it'd just be a nice little opportunity for her if she'd like to have a go at those. I'd love to kind of take her to, I mean, first and foremost, she really rides for my mum, but I'd love to take her to like the forest. There is a place called Little Lodge. It's not that close to us, but you can ride in the forest and you can ride in the river. I just thought that'd be a cool little experience for her. So yeah, hopefully a little lead rein season, and some in-handing. She may be going off to Wales as well, I'm not sure. Then we have Miss Ida. Miss Ida is obviously up for sale. She will be going to a good home hopefully next year. She's going to do a couple of lead reins, novice lead reins at the beginning of the season, just to get her kind of going out in the ring under saddle. Tiago will be on year off. He will be on year off again through no fault of his own, just having a year off. And then who else do we have? Mr. Leo. So Mr. Leo, he is still at that in-betweeny age of being the oldest one in the class in sort of Welsh Section C gelding classes, but he is too young to do the Minmon veteran scheme with the Welsh Pony and Cob Society. They have to be 19 and he'll be 18 next year. So we are going to carry on doing our unaffiliated veterans. We're going to do some more. We'd like to aim at some more of the senior gelding stuff with the breed shows. That would be a good one. Might take him for the veterans at Equifest. I'm not too sure. I haven't competed at Equifest for a few years now, actually. I stewarded 2 years ago for the week, and then last year I had the opportunity to judge, which was amazing. It was really strange coming sort of full circle from going there when it first started with a trade stand, then competing with my pony. I only had one pony at the time, which was Cody. Then competing with other people's ponies, going supreme there with Tia and Tallulah at foot, then stewarding, and then finally judging. It's very surreal, and it was a lovely opportunity, a really nice opportunity. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to do with Leo. I don't think he will go back to Wales next year. Possibly the year after, but definitely not next year. I say definitely not. I'll probably end up changing my mind, but we don't have any plans to take him anyway. Other than the win at a county show that I haven't won at before, and obviously the medal and the silver rosettes, I'm not entirely sure what more I would like to achieve. I mean, on my list, actually, thinking about it, on my list is actually to represent my section with Ariana in a Price Family qualifier. This is a target that is constantly being extended, obviously, because qualifying for Hoys is tricky in itself, and qualifying for the Price Family is like 1 in a million chance. It's so hard, but I feel like my first step is to get my pony into the qualifier, just to represent my section. So to go champion of her section at a county show and just be in amongst those people on those ponies is my first goal. I have actually been in it before when it was the Cuddy, and that was with a friend's pony. That was with a Halfling American foal. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure what else I would like you to achieve. I always want the ponies to go out looking well. I want them feeling well. Sometimes it's just nice to have nice comments from outsiders. It's not always about winning a class or taking a championship or winning a medal or something like that. Sometimes when you come home and a respected breeder or someone you respect in the showing world has said something nice about your pony, that can mean way more than anything you have achieved that day in the ring. That can mean a great deal. So yeah, that's about all of my goals, I think. Just now to action them. Get started. Tomorrow is 1st of January 2025. We will be starting working the ponies. That is always my first day of working them after their winter break. So I hope you guys have a lovely new year. I wish you all the luck for the 2025 season. Please subscribe and like if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the other side.